resumed in this particular matter, and Solicitor General Tushar Mehta has said that let alone the wall being broken, only measurement photography is currently on, but not a brick has been touched or will be touched in the near future, and no structural changes will be made. But what we are hearing from the Muslim side is that let this order be stayed. So this is what is happening in the Supreme Court, as the Muslim petitioners have reached the apex court and they decided that the entire ASI survey should be stayed. And the petition that the counter to that's coming in from the Solicitor General is that nothing when it comes to the wall or even the structure of this mosque complex has been damaged, and right now there is only a measurement and photography that is currently being on. He also goes on to say that we're not going ahead and digging into anything. Nothing is being tampered with as has been directed by the court earlier, and we're talking about the Varanasi court. So all of this has been ascertained even as the ASI is undertaking the survey. Let me actually bring in my colleague Siddhant, who's joining us on the broadcast. Siddhant, we are getting all of those details as this petition by the Muslim side has in fact reached the apex court. They are demanding a stay on this survey. However, the survey has begun, and the Solicitors General in fact noting down that they are going by whatever has been ensured should be done by the Varanasi court.
Well, yes, that's right. So, look, right now the petition has been moved in the Supreme Court. We exactly don't know the grounds on which the Muslim side has challenged the order of the district court instructing the ASI to do the scientific examination of the entire site. So the same order has been challenged in the Supreme Court, and perhaps we could tell our viewers right now there could be two grounds. One, the Worship Act of 1991, and the second could be that in a surprising manner this entire ASI teams have gone inside the site, and that could perhaps damage the existing structure. And in fact, what Ananya is reporting from inside the court also suggests the same, that there is an argument which is going on, and perhaps Tushar Mehta is representing the government of India. Makes the submission that no excavation is being carried out, only photography and the radio imaging is being done. So, this is an assurance which has come from Tushar Mehta, and perhaps he has spoken to the senior officials of ASI in New Delhi that no excavation will take place. So the GPR technique would be applied, and the data, GPR and the carbon data technique would be applied to know the age and the nature of the structure. So this is what Tushar Mehta has assured the Honorable Supreme Court. Also, Justice Chanchur, which is right now undertaking this hearing, has also said that talked about the apprehensions of the petitioners that have been raised in a petition which has been filed. So right now the argument is going on. It would really be interesting to see that what is going to be the fate of this. Now, even we have also been told that ASI informed Supreme Court that no invasive steps will be carried out subject to SC order. SC grants 1 week to Muslim side to move High Court. Okay, so there's a huge relief coming for the Muslim side. Perhaps Supreme Court has asked Muslim side to move Honorable High Court. That is perhaps going to be the designated court, because after the district court, it's going to be the High Court, which is going to hear this entire new legal fight which has started after the entry of the ASI teams at the mosque site. So Supreme Court has heard the petition, and a 1 week time has been granted. Perhaps is this in a form of a stay or some kind of a protection from exercise that is currently going on at the site? That is something which Ananya has to clarify, who is still inside the courtroom. But for now, we can confirm this for our viewers that the 1 week time has been given by the Supreme Court to the Muslim side to move High Court. So now, elaborated hearing is going to take place in the Allahabad High Court.
Okay, thank you so much for putting out that breaking news, Siddhant. Like Siddhant was mentioning, now the Archaeological Survey of India has also informed the Supreme Court that no invasive steps will be carried out subject to the Supreme Court's order. And like Siddhant was mentioning, the Supreme Court has also granted 1 week's time to the Muslim side to move High Court in the matter. What happens to the ASI survey while that 1 week is at play is something that we'd have to actually wait and watch for. But remember, it was in fact decided by the Varanasi court that even though they are going about allowing the ASI to conduct the scientific survey of the mosque complex barring the Wazukhana area, it is going to be non-intrusive. Even the ASI is conducting the ground penetrating radar technique, which is a geophysical method that uses radar pulses to image the subsurface. This is absolutely non-intrusive, a method of surveying a particular structure, the building structure, the mosque complex in this particular case, and this is basically to ascertain the age of the Gyanvapi Mosque complex, which is the bone of contention at the moment. My colleague Siddhant continues to stay with us. Siddhant, you were mentioning that 1 week's time has been granted by the Supreme Court to the Muslim petitioners so that they can approach the High Court. But what happens to the ASI survey in that week's time? Will it be stopped?
Well, that's right. So, look, there is still a clarity which we are still trying to get because the points which were raised by the Muslim side is that one, the excavation work is going on, the bricks are being removed, so that was an apprehension raised. And the second, Muslim side has told the Honorable Supreme Court that they did not get time to move the higher court or perhaps raise objection over the order which was passed by the district court to start the ASI scientific examination. So these are the two key points which have been raised. So Tushar Mehta, the top lawyer of the government of India, has assured the court that there is no excavation taking place. Only photography and radio imaging is right now going on. And also, if I go by what Ananya is reporting, then Justice D.Y. Chandrachud has also said that, and I quote, that the apprehensions of the petitioners may be laid as there would be no excavation for at least 1 week. So there is a stay on excavation. So excavation is any which way is not taking place as per the ASI and Tushar Mehta. And also, D.Y. Chandrachud goes on to say that at this stage, only measurements, photography, radar imaging.
In fact, Siddhant, Aranya is with us right now, so I think he will have very small amount of time before he goes inside the court complex. Aranya, I'd like to understand, and I'd ask you this very question. What happens to that 1 week tenure that's being granted to the Muslim side? Will the ASI survey be put on hold while the Muslim side has been allowed to go to the High Court and petition further?
Well, Griha, there are a lot of aspects to a survey that is conducted by Archaeological Survey of India. The first being that, they completely map that particular area. They do radio imaging, they do photography of that area to check as to where they want to dig up, where they want to excavate. And now a statement has been made by the Solicitor General of India, Mr. Tushar Mehta, appearing on behalf of the Archaeological Survey of India, clearly that until the 31st of July, that is a 1 week period that is granted to these petitioners, there would be no kind of a excavation exercise that would be carried out. But radio imaging, mapping of that particular area can actually be continued is what has been said. However, the Muslim side is constantly pushing for a stay of this particular order. However, no directions have been so far passed on that particular thing as
what
of
are
now.
the grounds
so
of their
the
plea?
Arguments are still
Ananya,
going
what
on
are
about
the grounds
that,
of the plea by the Muslim side?
Well, what they are exactly claiming before the top court is that, excavation of that particular site cannot take place because there already is an order of the Allahabad High Court which had stayed any kind of a scientific investigation. The court is asking them as to which order is it, and since it's a new order that is coming from the Varanasi court, so definitely the court is asking as to how is there a stay in that particular excavation exercise. But what is very clear, the two clear directions from the top court at this point of time are, though the arguments are still continuing, is number one, that the ASI has informed the topmost court of the country that, we are not going to conduct any kind of an excavation exercise. We're not going to dig up any kind of an area. We are just mapping, doing radio imagery, doing, satellite imaging of this particular area. And no kind of an excavation is actually at this point of time taking place. However, the Supreme Court has granted a 1 week time to these petitioners, to in fact the Muslim side, to approach the Allahabad High Court, because remember that this order has been passed by the district judge of Varanasi, and the appeal of this order actually lies before the Allahabad High Court. And Allahabad High Court, it would be subject to the orders of the Allahabad High Court now after 1 week as to what is the course of the excavation or the survey that is being conducted by the Archaeological Survey. Though there is no kind of a bar exactly on this Archaeological Survey of India survey that is being conducted, but they cannot conduct any kind of a excavation is what has been said by the Supreme Court. However, we are still waiting for the final orders to come in, though two directions have been passed, but we'll see as to whether or not the Supreme Court will be staying. The arguments are still continuing before the topmost court of the country. Mr. Ahmadi is constantly trying to to persuade, in fact, the court that, there should be some kind of a stay on this particular order that's been passed by the Varanasi court. He's taking the court through various orders. So we'll have to wait how things pan out at this point of time, but we'll try to get back to the court and see as to what is happening inside the court in